When it comes to yo-yos, I'm always on the lookout for historical errors. As many of you are aware, I have been debunking the idea that the yo-yo was an ancient Greek toy, which is currently dogma. Anytime you read anything on the history of the yo-yo, images of Greek ceramic yo-yos, spoiler alert, these are not yo-yos, they are bobbins, these images predominate, including my book, Lucky's Collector's Guide to 20th Century Yo-Yos. And in my defense, I didn't know any better at the time. To explain this phenomenon, I will lean on one of my favorite quotes from my novel, The Immune, Lies Undiscovered Become Truths. So before you label me a conspiracy theorist and try to lock me away in a padded room with some Flat Earth Society members, let me explain how this myth got started. When they discovered this piece of pottery, the archaeologist in the 18th century, I think, looked at it and said, this must be a boy playing a yo-yo, and he used as proof or evidence that yo-yos existed in ancient Greece because the existence of these bobbins. But two wrongs don't make a right. He was unaware, apparently, that these so-called ceramic yo-yos were found in the graves of adult women, and women having fancy bobbins is well documented back thousands of years. Also, there was some pretty amazing mythological artwork on items that were supposed to be a child's toy. Not to mention a pretty crummy material to make yo-yos out of if you want it to survive hitting the ground even once. Add this to the fact that there has never been any yo-yos made of other materials ever discovered in ancient Greek archaeology digs. So if yo-yos didn't exist, what was this boy doing? Well, he was holding an Aryballos, which is an extremely ubiquitous item in ancient Greek culture. An Aryballos is a small ceramic vessel that held oils and perfumes, and it was commonly attached to a leather thong. Hundreds of Aryballos have been discovered and can be found in most major museums that have ancient Greek exhibits. Here are a few of some images of other drawings of people with Aryballos on pottery. And as you can see, it is very understandable that these images might be misconstrued as yo-yos. So if you put to rest the idea that the yo-yo wasn't an ancient Greek toy, when do we see the first yo-yo appear in history? Well, for now, it would be 1492, a documented illustration from a book in Persia. This could change, but for now, this is the earliest absolute documentation of the yo-yo. So, imagine my surprise when I found a video claiming not only documented evidence of the yo-yo preceding this date, but also being used as a weapon. I was more than excited than when I was 12 when Mark Wheaton stole some of his Big Brother's Playboy magazines and for a nominal fee he was willing to share. So this is the first image that came up in the video. It was a silk Chinese image of the Guan Yu, pardon my pronunciation, circa 2000 AD. Spank me, call me Rita, and make me write bad checks. I was flabbergasted. How did I not know about this image? I have been poring over old yo-yo images and illustrations of yo-yos for the last 3 decades. And then my ego took another blast, worse than when Mary Zingbot turned me down on a date by spitting on me. He showed this image from a 12th century medieval French tapestry. How did this guy, who was a weapons expert, out-research me on the history of the yo-yo? But yet he's had even more images, and this popped up. Now, the little bell went off in the back deep recesses of my brain, just as it did when my mother offered me candy to sit in the lobotomist chair. I have looked at a lot of Greek pottery trying to make a case for the yo-yo really being an ancient Greek toy, and I recognize this vase, except that when I remembered it, there were no yo-yos on the vase, as you can see here. So a quick search of Guan Yu came up with this reproduction silk on eBay for $35, minus, of course, the yo-yo. And a reverse image search revealed the medieval tapestry it was, of course, also missing the yo-yo. Of course, his video went on with several other images claiming to be historical images of yo-yos being used as weapons, but each got more and more ridiculous. I stopped at the yo-yo bazooka. But why would this man stoop so low to give this particular Bandalorist, that you may remember is a person who collects yo-yos or enjoys studying the history of yo-yos, a near-fatal arrhythmia? Well, I thought I might check the date on the video post. And yes, as you have probably already guessed, it was released on April 1st. So for at least the first two images, he got me lock, stock, and barrel. Now, there is no doubt in my mind that sometime, somewhere, one of these images will show up in the yo-yo community as proof of the yo-yo not only being an ancient toy, but a weapon too. And of course, everything you see on the internet must be true. So always remember, lies undiscovered become truths. You heard it first here on Yo-Yo Talk. April 1st approaches fast.